Good morning, or good afternoon. Welcome to Down to Badger State Tractor Pullers. Tonight we've got first half of the show, Chris Feller and Al Paulson on here for Beaver Dam, and Stacy Butson talk about how it went. We had a couple shows that rained out last week. Lancaster and Pecatonica both got rained out, so we'll see how. But we had great success in Beaver Dam, right, Al?
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome night. Thank you, guys. Good to see you guys. Good seeing you and Chris and Greg. Beautiful weather, thank God, because the rest of the week wasn't so good. But pretty happy with the crowd.
Nope. What did we say? Like 6,000 people there. They talked to Doug, and is that what it ended up being? We were guessing, or
I actually called Doug this morning and just asked him just so we could say tonight, and he said they had 8,000 paid people come through the gate, and that didn't count people that had wristbands for the week or online or anything like that. And 5,000 seating is the grandstands. He considered the grandstands full, and he said 1,000 to 1,500 standing room on the grandstand side, plus whatever he had on the infield for spectators and pullers. So pretty nice crowd.
Yeah, the infield was pretty full too. So I bet you that 6,500 people there was pretty dang close, huh?
I think 6,500 is pretty accurate, actually. So
yep,
he's so happy. He just so happy that we had such a good showing that ended up being the best night of the whole fair for him.
Good. We were a little short iron that night, but it seemed to work out right. We had a couple classes short, and
it worked out because we just timed it. We didn't need to have the groomers out on the track, in the way for the spectators when the next tractor ran. So we just paced it so everybody's out of the way. They actually want us to get started at 7 and be done at 9:30 because that's the modern day pull nowadays. It's a 2.5 hour show, and that's what they really want.
Yep. 2 tracks. It worked great. And I don't think we slowed the show down at all. I mean, just making sure the tracks were off when somebody goes, so people at stands could see it. It's not good. You got 4 pieces of equipment on the inside track, so they can't see what's going on the outside track. I think it worked out pretty good.
Oh, hey Al, I got a question for you, Al.
Sure.
Is your fair up there? Do they have a separate charge for the grandstand, or is the grandstand included in the gate when they walk on the grounds?
That's actually included in the gate. You do not pay any extra to go to the gate. That's why there's quite a few more paid people that day than what they figure was in the stands, because there's quite a few people wandering the barns and in the mid.
Sure. Yeah. I wish all promoters would see the optic of having a full grandstands rather than making the people reach in their pocket twice. It could be $4 at the gate and $4 to get in the grandstand, but by golly, you're having them reach in their pocket twice, and they don't like that. It could be $8 for one, and that's it. And they'd be fine with that same $8, but you're not making them dig in their pocket twice.
Right.
I think the optics of a full grandstand are a lot better.
It's a hell of a bargain, for people to come to the Dodge County Fair for $15 and watch, where else can you go to see the pro stock class alone? You just can't go see that, and I think people recognize that. People in Beaver Dam really love tractor pulling, and we don't have some of the draws we used to have with Whoop and Teresa and all them, aren't really happening anymore. So the Beaver Dam thing has gotten very popular, and we've been doing it long enough now. Chris worked a long time on getting us in there, and it took a while, and finally they gave us the shot, and now it's kind of turned into more of an event than a pull. It's like people remember, it's Wednesday night, first night of the fair, we got to go because that's the night the Badger State Tractor Pullers are there. And it took a long time to get there, but now that we're there, we just want to keep it rolling,
I think they let us work on the track too. The first couple of years, there were a lot more car races there, so we couldn't do much to the track. But now there's only maybe 2 car races there a year. Al, 1.
Yeah,
so they let us do work to the track, and you guys can see the difference there. I mean, the first couple of years, no one even picked their front end up off the ground, but after we've added clay, worked it in, keep improving the track every year, it just keeps getting a little bit better. I mean, Wednesday night there were people yanking the front ends up and hooking up, and that wouldn't have happened the first couple of years. So that is getting better.
Yep, I will say the track was the best it's ever been there, as far as I'm concerned. So that's what you like to see. Improve the track. Guys are working with you and doing stuff. And as long as the guy's trying, you're always willing to go there, right?
Yeah, we got a great crew up there too. Them guys work really hard several days before the event, so it takes a lot of people to prepare the track and put on an event like that. And they don't realize, fans and people that don't promote events, they don't understand how many people it takes to put on that event.
Right.
Or any event.
Right. Well, when we were up at Don Slama's, and you had the drivers meeting up there, he said it took 34 people to work the track and the gates and stuff each session. And I actually think that's low. But that doesn't count it doesn't count, like people selling in the food stands either. I think that was just people working gates and the track.
Al, how many we have helping all together with everything? Probably close to 20, right?
I actually tried to make a short list of just the track crew, and I've got 8 on here, and that doesn't even count, all the volunteers that help us get everybody checked into the gate. Steph Favelmill has offered and helped every single year. Your sister has helped, Chris. And who's the other gal? Can you help me with the names? I just can't remember his name. Emily, yep. And, that's so important to get them out there and make that smooth for them coming in. And the Fair Board appreciates that because they don't know, other than the fact that maybe a semi shows up, they don't know how many people should be coming in or not coming in. And our girls do such a good job with that. My wife helps at the gate. We try to keep the as many people as we can out of the pits because it's real easy to get that too full. And she's kind of the guard dog there and does a great job. But yeah, the track crew, we've worked together enough years now. It's getting to be kind of fun and everybody knows exactly what to do. We're blessed. We got, Randy Wolk runs the grader for us and that guy is good. And Travis Mayer kind of took over this year as the head guy out in the track, and it was just a smooth transition because they've got their own radios and everything and all the equipment, so they're talking back and forth to each other during the show. So all our guys got to do is tell somebody, and hey, we got to get this hole filled in, or this needs to be packed again, or whatever. They're really getting. Plus all the work we do far long before the show. It usually starts days before where we start watering and everything else. Like this year, I used about half as much water as we did last year. Of course, last year we had a drought, but we still had a wet spot that we couldn't get rid of that we didn't water because all the damn rain we had this year. And it made it a little tricky on that grandstand side track for everybody over there, and the pro stocks especially. If you got too far right, it was soft.
Yeah.
Is that where I seen the video of Greg almost hitting the wall?
Right. Although Greg wasn't driving.
Oh, okay.
It was Mason.
The Tomcat almost hitting the wall.
Right. I think a lot of guys got right there, pretty close to it. And we even, I lined up Randy, and we even angled the sled to shoot it across track, and it still brought him over there. Not quite as bad, but he went right after Mason did, and we backed the sled up and backed him in at an angle, and it still got him over there. But that, the rain, the water comes off the grandstands there, right, Al? And that's just, what do you do with it?
Right at 270 feet, there's a flag stand, and there's an opening in the bricks there. And the water run right out on the track. Kind of, I always compare it to Darlington, the issue we got there when it runs out. And
Yep.
We had it sandbagged, but it wasn't enough. We needed to stop that water a long time before that. And I don't know when that would have been, probably back in June, but
February.
How much difference that makes. The track probably wasn't muddy there, but it just had more moisture in it right there, right?
It was just soft. It wasn't mud, but it was soft.
Yeah, it's just a different consistency. So obviously, when you're going on the track, it's going to want to pull you that way because that soil's a little bit denser over there. So then you get yanked over there.
Right. It always reminds me of the days when they used to let the firemen go out and water the track with a hose, instead of using a piece of equipment that spreads it consistent as you go. Everybody does these spreader bars now, where in the old days, they always had the firemen out there with their hose. Well, they never got it the same. That was terrible. The front ends were going like this. So you hit some spot, you come down, and the next week you hit it again. More moisture, less moisture, whatever it was, it was just miserable. But everybody's kind of got good equipment now, and we've coached them into doing what you need to do to build a track.
Well, and that's where Pat really helps this day of the show too. He's a water professor. He sits and he just looks and says, "Well, it's a little dry there. Let's put a little water there." We don't use the flood bar anymore during the day of the show. We actually big flood nozzles, and they don't put on anywhere near as much water. And it doesn't take much. You just got to kind of stay after. If he sees it start getting dry, we chase the truck down through again. And we get so busy. It's really nice working. Pat was awesome this year, doing a great job of just keeping up with the little bit of water you need in the certain spots. And believe me, we're trying super hard to get that track just as good as possible for you guys, because there's nothing we hate more than hearing that, God, your track wasn't very good, and we're not hearing that anymore. And a lot of that has to do with Chris getting that clay in there last year or 2 years ago now. And that new clay helped a lot. And every year we do the track, we learn more, and it's getting easier to do because we're getting a little better at it. I don't know.
And we're still limited a little bit. I mean, I'd like to get some more organic matter in there, maybe plant some winter wheat on it this winter, but we got to talk to Doug to see if he's going to let us do that, because there is still a couple car races there. And, when you got inconsistent soil on those flat track cars, that causes a lot of problems. You know what I mean? So we'll see what we can do.
Got to work with everybody on that. Just, how it is. They make money in the races too. They've got to, they've got to utilize their facilities for as much as they can. And if the tractor pros won't come back or the racers won't come back, it's not good for anybody,
Right.
You got to make it work for everybody. Yep.
It sounds like there's a pretty good chance we'll be able to plant a cover crop on it in maybe the end of September, because they have one more event going on there, and then it's pretty much done for the year the way it sounds.
Yeah. Well, if you
Sounds
planted all the track, is it consistent then? Would it be called consistent if you planted all the way around the track for them?
They want to. They actually do want to plant the whole track. So they think it'll help every part of that track.
Yeah, that dirt's tired all the way around the track. You know what I mean? How many years they've been, in existence there? That dirt needs help all the way around the track.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just happy they're still racing cars there.
Right. There's not many places that do that anymore. Chris, when you say that dirt's tired, why don't you explain to everybody what that means?
Well, I mean, it's lost all. I mean, it's just like your farm field, years and years of rain and erosion on. I mean, it just takes all the organic matter completely out of it. And that's what that track is like. I mean, there's just not, it gets a little sandy, and when you put some water in it, it just doesn't stick together, and that's what you need. You need that soil to be able to, you take a big handful of soil, it should be able to get it to stick together. And you can't do that on the whole rest of the track, except for where we've done work on it. So, I mean, that organic matter is just gone, leached out of the soil, and it's just not a good pulling medium anymore.
Right. And you like organic matter in it too, because if you don't have any, the track gets too hard.
Oh yeah. Yep. It'll turn into asphalt.
Yep. And nobody wants to pull on that. Nobody wants to watch anybody pull on that. That's just a bad show.
Yeah.
So, right.
And the big thing is you got to have consistency, so it packs back together on the start and the finish line, where we leave big ruts, so it's an equal pull for everybody. That's the goal.
Right. We heard on this show here a couple of weeks ago that the secret to putting a track back together is putting pine sol in the water. Did you guys mess with any of that up there?
Maybe.
Well, then the other stuff was, what's that stuff? Bushes too,
Oh, there's some VP makes a product for tracks but I think it's like $400 for a 5-gallon pail or something too. And the guys that found Pine Sol does a very good job for a fraction of the cost.
Right. Got to keep your belt skinny. Times are tough.
Right.
Mr. Clean's even cheaper. I wonder if that works.
Right. Ajax. Yeah.
How was the Pullers meal up there this year?
It was bad.
It was bad. Prime rib and shrimp.
Oh, terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife, Azalea, and my sister were in charge of that. So I think they did pretty good.
It was good. Really good. Yep. I'm thinking that was one of the better ones so far this summer. Prime rib, and even everything else you had there was great too. The potatoes and all that stuff were really good.
I didn't even pay attention. We had other stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't get past the shrimp.
You put that big piece of meat on my plate. I ate so much I couldn't even drink a beer the rest of the night. So, yeah.
I didn't put it on there.
Yeah, you did.
That's why Mason had to drive, huh?
You're right, exactly. Yeah. Greg fell asleep in the trailer on the floor.
I might have, but it was a good meal. Yep. So I think that so people that are watching, last summer or last year we started a new award. You get this iron skillet with the Badger State logo engraved in the middle of it for the best Pullers meal served, and I think it's really stepped up the meals this year. I think it is. People want to win that bugger.
Our pulling team has to win something this year.
Well, you won't get hard luck, I don't think.
No, we were in the running for it, but then you guys had to top us.
Well, I don't know if we topped it, but the year's not over. Somebody might top it yet.
Oh, so we got to get ours out one more time, right?
Right.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know if it's a cumulative award or not, but you guys are going that route on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. That you got a point there, Stacy. It should be cumulative because right now I think we're done for the season because we had bearing material in our filter again after Beaver Dam. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's. Well, I have an idea what's going on, and that'll be a big project. Probably got to reline bore the block.
Yeah. That does. I mean, I would say really that I was having that too last 2 years ago, and we reline boarded and it was been fine ever since. It's crazy what a couple thousands will do there.
Yeah, when you take her up to 7202, and you got that centrifugal force in there, that cast block doesn't really like that too much.
Nope. She starts. It's hard to believe that a cast block will flex, right?
Yeah, stuff starts moving around.
Yep, stuff's got to go somewhere.
Well, when we're running them engines down the track, and you got several thousand pounds of torque, and the RPMs are running, anything flexes. I mean, it would be unbelievable to actually know what goes on inside of the engine when it happens. I mean, you got to think that you got top clearance on your pistons, the bottom of the head there for a reason, up to 70,000s because they stretch that much. You know what I mean? It's just crazy what we're doing to our engines.
Yep. So speaking of engines, how's the Caterpillar coming?
Good.
You got it ready for the dyno?
Yeah, it's been ready for the dyno for a little over a month. We'll get her on there soon. Just Robbie's really busy, and he's going to help me out, Robbie and Troy. So we just got to find some time to slide it in down there. And then, sheet metal just keeps progressing along. We're done with the fenders now, and Craig and I have been working on side shield stuff right now. So it's really close. I want to get it down the track this year, sheet metal or not. Not necessarily at a pull, but maybe later this year. I got a track at home and run it, make sure everything's okay.
Okay. So the one V8 Perkins you got out there, is that in Coons tractors or Copes?
Coons has got the first block end. They all have one. It's just that I believe Carlton's really trying to figure out his configuration before he puts a new block in, before with his old setup before he spends the time putting the new block in. And then Coons, they're making along pretty good with theirs, and Mike's keeps whittling away at his.
Yep. Mike said he's not going to get his out this year, but it'll be out next year.
Yeah, he's he's doing some major work to it. It's going to be interesting when he gets his out too. He's pretty particular about stuff, and I don't blame him. It's it's a big project, making sure everything's right.
So one of my questions for you was, why didn't you just use a Perkins block and a V8 because you could put any block you want in it? Why try and invent two different things? Why not just go with the Perkins block in the V8 version?
There's advantages to each one of those blocks and the configuration. We're just going to try both and see which one works best, bottom line. So there's advantages to both styles of blocks. The Perkins bore spacing is a little bit farther apart, so you get a little bit more meat on the crankshaft, but then, the Cat's, it's got advantages because the bore spacing is closer, and, we can probably spin a little bit faster. So, there's not quite as much mass there. So we'll find out soon.
Right. And you reverse flowed your heads, right? From what a stock set heads is?
Yeah, you won't see any glowing headers on mine. That's done for a reason. With the engineering analysis on it, we believe that we can push that turbo harder, because one of the issues that the V8s have got, they kind of lay down at the end, and I think we can keep that turbo lit a little bit tighter with the shorter headers and more. And it's not even necessarily the flow of the air coming in. There's a lot of other factors that go into pushing that turbo, the harmonics of the engine, the heat, everything. So that's the idea of it. And then the headers being on the outside, you can have a little bit more space to organize your air before it comes in the heads, kind of like the 6 cylinders are. So it's kind of like 2-4 inline John Deere engines configured into a V8. It's kind of the way mine's set up. If that makes any sense.
Yep. There was a question just scrolled across here. What sheet metal are you putting on it?
1080 Challenger.
1080 Challenger. All right. I see John just jumped on here with us. We're kind of here in the end of the conversation here. John, do you have any questions for Chris or Al? You were in Beaver Dam. Any comments?
I thought it was a great pull. Yeah, I was actually sitting backstage watching you guys for Ryan got me in.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great pull. That crowd is amazing there. It was a full house again. They weren't as lively as they were in the past, but they're still jumping up and down. And I thought the track held together good for everybody. And the dinner, that was terrible, terribly good.
Oh, hey, I won $100 off of Gallett's too.
How'd you do that?
Well, in the last podcast, he was still on, and I don't know how we got talking. He beat me at Hillsboro. I got second place. He got first, and then he told me he was going to beat me again at Beaver Dam. I told him it wasn't, so we bet $100, and I won.
You gonna bet him again next week?
No, because our track. Well, I could, but I'd lose for sure because our tractor's parked in the corner.
Right. You're gonna try and get it back out, or you're just gonna wait? You're done.
I don't know. We got to figure out how much energy we got left. Kind of disappointing after eating up 4 sets of bearings.
Yeah. This will be the 4th time this year you've had to take it apart, right?
It'll actually be the 5th.
5th? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
This will be the 3rd time we got to take the crank all the way out. So I don't know. Depends on Jared and Tony and myself how much energy we got. It's still sitting in my trailer up here in Waterloo.
Did you ever think about putting one of Robbie's steel blocks in?
Oh yeah, we've had some conversations.
Yeah. Yep. That might be the route It takes a lot of money to build a stock block. So you probably do all your own machining, but an average guy, you've probably got $10,000 in machining by the time you take a stock block and get it there, right?
Oh yeah. It takes a long time to machine them.
Yeah. Yep. So you do it all yourself in house?
Yep. Yeah. This whole pro stock was built in house, the whole thing.
Yep.
I bought, there's some common parts. I tried to make as many common parts as I could, to John Deere stuff. So some of the stuff I bought from Robbie that he makes too and bolted on there. But yeah, it's we do a lot of the stuff we do a little less stuff for the wild buck in house than we used to. We got a lot of more Robbie stuff on there now.
It's just a lot easier to go to Robbie's and get it off the shelf, right?
Yeah, especially when should be paying attention to my other customers, not tractor pulling stuff.
Right. Right.
They get a little excited at work when I overtake the tool room for a few weeks. We're supposed to be doing other things, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Tractor pulling pays so well. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I made $100 last week.
Spend 1,000 to make 100. That sounds like a winning deal.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Al had a nice run in Beaver Dam. The old girl sounded nice.
Thanks. Back together for Hillsborough, so we're happy it's running again.
The filter is clean.
What was that?
The filter was clean.
The filter's clean. Very happy to see that too.
Right.
Yeah, we should just trade filters. So maybe that'll work.
That's a better idea.
Right. Well,
Look at that. Got the #1 flagman on again.
I was going to say, thanks for Chris and Al coming on here. We got Dirk on now. If you guys want to stay on, that's fine too. But we'll let Dirk talk to see if we learn anything. Probably not.
Probably not.
Thanks a lot.
Always been said.
Nice talking to you, Chris. Nice talking to you, Paul.
Yeah.
Yep. See you guys later.
Yeah. See you, Al.
Yeah.
Dirk.
Yeah. Oh, and to touch base on the two poles that got rained out, Lancaster, that got rained out early in the afternoon. They pulled the pin on that one. Rained all day there. And I guess, Al, you've seen all that rain come through up there in Beaver Dam too, probably. That rained out Lancaster on Thursday night, I guess, that day after your poll. And then down at Pecatonica for the Winnebago County Fair on Friday night, that got rained out. And that was a different deal there. Everybody was there, and we were all dressed up, ready to go. And about an hour before pull time, boy, she let loose, and it poured. And they had all that rain there on Thursday. So at Pecatonica, they had already peeled the pulling track off, and it was laying in turns 4 and turn 1. And so they had the old track there, the old horse track, whatever, motorcycle track, whatever. That's all that was left there. And they covered that during the downpour. And then after the downpour was over, they pulled the cover off, and that was dry, but it was like concrete. I mean, it's what it was. It was limestone concrete. And by then, and the amount of standing water to get to the track was just a mess. And the no way was Badger State Tractors going to pull on that track. And they didn't have, they went ahead with the farm stock pull. And as I was announcing with Jerry Sach's dad, Jim, down there, and the first class they run was unlimited front wheel assist. And I says to Jim, I says, it's a good thing they're running front wheel assist first, because that's what you're going to need to get to the track. It was a mess, but they plugged through it, and they kept pulling the slop off on the entry, the staging area to get up there, and they got through it. They pulled farm stocks till about 10 o'clock, and the fair was happy. They had people in the stands. They sold a bunch of beer in the infield, so they got something. They were happy they salvaged something out of the night anyway. So, but yeah, there was no way a Badger State show was going to happen on that track. I can tell you that.
Right, and it's hard. If you're getting rained out, you're not going to get. It's hard to get enough people in the stands to pay for the show.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want people to lose money. It sucks, but If it was that muddy and you're there, they all talked and they said they were good with going home.
Yeah, it was a mess. I commented, just from being a puller and going to polls like that when it's a mess like that. I prefer that they call it off, because even if you do get the pull in, the track's going to be what it is, which is not going to be very good. And then the fact that you're going to be going through so much mud, going from your trailer to back into trailer, by the time you get home and unload, you got 2 to 3 hours ahead of you just power washing your tractor off and your trailer out and just cleaning up the mess. And it's you do that for enough years, you don't really care to do it all the time.
Right.
Gosh,
So anyway, they got through. They did what they did, and like I say, they had a nice little farm stock pull, and the fair was happy that they got something in. So it was.
Did they get?
Go ahead.
Did they have rain insurance?
I don't know. I asked that. I mentioned that question, and somebody didn't know the answer to that. So not my area.
Nope. So how are things looking in Highland, Dirk?
Looking really, really good. It's people are going to be a little surprised to see everything we've done over the year. And man, them guys up there, Brandon Bodenstein and Don and Ryan Poppy and a few other guys, they've been working their butts off all summer to get that looking like it does. I mean, we replaced all the concrete blocks with actual jersey barriers. We built a new announcer stand. We've cleaned up the place and mowed. And Saturday we were up there after they went through with the brush hog. I guess that wasn't good enough for the guys putting it on up there. So we had 5 zero-turn mowers mowing the whole pits and everything.
Oh man!
But they just wanna improve it every year.
Yep, that's good. That's the guys you want to work with. Ladwig says he knows a rain insurance guy.
Yeah, well, we already talked to him, so he got his check, so he needs to lighten up.
Well, no, for damn. Yeah. Or no, it wasn't Al down at Pecatonica. Yeah. Yep.
Did they have rain insurance?
We don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dirk, you're so distinguished since you become a grandfather there. You should have one of them nice long pipes smoking on it like a Sherlock Holmes hat on or something.
No, that's all right. I'm good with this. I'm ugly enough the way it is.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, I knew you would. Dick.
Hey, now on the Badger State Facebook page or whatever, it shows the Highland as being Saturday the 26th. That's incorrect, and it says 6 o'clock also, and I believe that's incorrect.
Yes, it's Saturday the 24th. Badger State start time is 5 o'clock. We've got 3 classes of stock tractors and 2 hot to farm, and I think one of them is the 2-3 whatever Kleppy's class is, their Southwest class. So we've got 3 classes. We're going to start those at 1 o'clock, and $20 to get in, and you're good for all day.
Perfect.
And we still have the famous Highland steak sandwiches ready too.
Yep.
Whose sled you got lined up, Dirk?
We got Josh Jacobs. That's who we've had. We've had good luck with him, so he's done a really good job the last few years.
He's been good all year. I think Josh is getting it figured out. He's been great all year. I don't think we've had a problem anywhere with him this year.
No, he's really, you can tell he's stepped his game up. He has a few problems with the pro stocks yet, but what's led out there doesn't. I've seen, when we were down in Monticello, Brandon Bungart missed the setup on that, but
yeah,
they're doing well. He's doing really well.
I can't blame Brandon for that one because they didn't tell him that pro stocks were going to be there, so he didn't bring it
right.
up.
Yeah.
There's always 2 sides of the story, isn't there?
There
Yeah.
is. There
Well, and the thing with the pro stocks are they're a different animal than they were 6 years ago.
4 years ago.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
No, and when we were down to Monticello, when the first one went out there at 350, I looked at Brandon and he said, I got every weight I got in here. And he says, my next option is fifth gear and I'm just going to kill them. And it's a beautiful facility. And I think Greg, you just said the same thing is we just said, let them run because the crowd I've never seen a crowd that excited.
there was a lot of people there too. And they were really excited. And that was a great place to pull.
Yep.
Yep. So
But, no, things are coming along really well. I got Pat Hack is coming Saturday morning, and he's going to help with the track too. We'll probably start putting water on probably tomorrow. It's a little bit dry down there, but we've had quite a bit of rain the last couple of weeks. But it's just mainly the top.
yeah.
Just, you just don't want to let it get away from you. So we just want to put on a couple thousand gallons every night before it gets dark and not create mud.
Right. And you said you put some drain tile in it last year too, or last fall to keep
2 years ago we did, and man, that helped. I know I hate to give you credit, Greg, but that was your idea, and we did that, and we've had some really hard rains. I'd drive up to the track and there wasn't one puddle of water on the pulling track.
Right.
And it was just running out in that creek we got at the finish line.
Well,
How deep did you bury the drain tile, Dirk?
Oh, it's about 3 feet deep. It's not that deep, but you don't know what you're going to hit in that place because
Is that an old wastewater treatment area there that you guys got for your whole facility?
That is the old Highland sewer pits that they used to pump into, and they bulldozed them all in when they got full and put a bunch of clay on them, and that's what's underneath there. I just don't know where it's at.
That's why I said you need a drain tile here. It's a big tank. The water can't get away. You got to have some place for the water to get out of this tank.
Right. It was a huge pit, so it had a bottom in it anyway that wasn't going to leak out.
Right. Not supposed to. The government says it wasn't supposed to leak, right?
Right.
Yeah. Who listens to?
Yeah, I was my first time there was last year, and that dirt was. I really liked that dirt. I said, "Boy, I'd love to hook a mini rod on this track."
Yep. Yeah.
Well, we put a bunch of clay on it 5 years ago, and I said we got too much clay, and this is before the Badger State, and so I brought in 20 loads of black dirt. We put that on, and then we thought, well, that was a little bit too much, so we went and put another 8 loads of clay on that and mixed it in, and of course you plant rye on it and get it mixed in and let it go through a frost, and it's worked out good so far. The only problem we got is, and I don't know what to do, is it's a lot of iron running on that track, and we're doing everything we can to keep that track maintained throughout the night.
Oh, we know what the secret is. It's been exposed on this show here a few weeks ago. Pine saw.
It's coming.
Yep. Yep.
Pat says he's bringing the juice, so
Yeah.
Okay, you're good, then.
All of a sudden, we got to buy stock in pine sol now.
yeah.
I got well, Marshall Paulson's watching here, and he said hi to me. And I got to say hi, Marshall. How you doing? Melvin and Tracy's son. Yep.
Oh, Marshall.
Yep. Yep.
And hey, Dirk, when I went there last year, I appreciated, and I hope you guys do it again this year, maybe bigger and bolder, is signs going through town directing you out to the pull track, because it's not anywhere near town.
Nope. Then we're trying to do a better job with that too. But you're gonna, when you come up Main Street, you got to look to the post office, and you take a left on Dodgeville Street, and then you got to take another right, and it can be confusing, but it's just outside of town. We got all kinds of room. The village of Highland have been really supportive. I got to go to a meeting probably tomorrow or something to meet with the town board. We're thinking about doing the one side parking on that street headed out there, because when you got vehicles on each side of the street, it gets a little tight. And I just don't want some haulers or meeting a car or some parked car getting damaged. So we're going to try to do like an you know what I mean? Alternate side parking.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like those in the big
yeah.
city.
Tell them they're just practicing up for the snow season.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's announcing in Highland?
I got the short straw on that one.
Did you? Yep. You have to eat a steak sandwich, huh? Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no.
we'll have Stacy. We'll have Stacy and Christopher there.
Okay.
Okay. What, Dirk? Tell us what you make. You said most of it's sponsored before you ever start too, and you make some good money. Or what have you done with the money in the community? What do you do with it?
Well, of course, we got the fire department that helps us. We got something called the Holidays in Highland, who they run around and decorate all the businesses on Main Street in Highland during Christmas, and they also do a huge display up at the Highland Park where it's like a walk through Christmas decorations, and they run all the food stands, and the ATV club parks the cars, and the Lions Club helps out. And so it, depending on how good a year we've got, we like to give them at least $500 a piece. Also, the high school for letting us use the bleachers and the park. And we don't need, I told them guys, we don't need to make a bunch of money to have it sitting there in a savings account. The community helps us out a lot, and we try to give as much back to the community as we can, just for helping, because
Right.
it takes a lot of people.
It does. Not just the advertising, to sponsor it and support it and get everybody out there and businesses. It is a big deal for each community we do this in.
Yes, it is. And, we're an awful small community, and I can't believe the support we get from, well, even our surrounding communities, Cobb, Montfort, Highland, and Muscadet. They're all very supportive with what we're doing.
Yep.
Colin Burkholz is on here, says wishing nothing but the best for Highland this weekend. Quickly becoming one of my favorite pulls, but don't tell Dirk that.
Oh, I didn't hear nothing. Too bad Colin come up to me and said he couldn't make it because he had a catastrophic disaster up to Hillsborough. I really felt bad for him, but he'll be back next year.
Yep. So, what happened to Colin's tractor in Hillsborough? I guess I heard it broke, but I didn't know. Do you know?
I think he spun a bearing. I don't know if it was a rod bearing or a main bearing, but he said his filter was just chock full and he wasn't going to run it.
Yeah.
He came up and asked me if he needed to bump the sled. I says, no, we don't do that. You're good to go. Go home and get it fixed.
Is the Thunder Clutch going to make it back out this year?
No, but the boys got some good news this week, or last Friday. Robbie said the crank is good, the head is good, the rods are good. Robbie's actually putting it together right now, or in the new block, and I don't think it's going to get back out in the next couple weeks here. It's just not going to make it. If we were in a points race or still in it, yes, we'd have killed ourselves and got it. Put it back together, do it right, and get it back out there. You know how it goes. Just sorry it isn't, but the boys, it was heartbreaking for them what happened to them because they were running so good and right in there all the time, But not going to make it this year. They're hoping Cloverdale.
The Winter Nationals.
Winter Nationals moving to Cloverdale. I don't even know the date for that anymore. Same weekend probably.
January.
Yeah, January's a busy month for us this year. With the fair convention, Cloverdale, and I got a couple other meetings I have to go to, and I'm not even going to punch in January. So, but
This is where you enter the thing in, Dirk. Like, does he ever? You know what I mean?
I was going to say that, but, I'm trying to be nice.
Right?
But nice guys finish last.
Right. Good. We don't like nice on this show.
Okay. You dick.
Oh, there. You finally got it out, Curry. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
But no, I'd like to mention a couple of our main sponsors. We have, of course, Larry over there at Hennessy. He donates quite a bit, and we've got tractors and skid loaders that he donates, and Don's Tire in Highland. And if you're from the Southwest area, you know all about Don's Tire, and he's been a super supporter of us the whole time. And we couldn't do it without these sponsors that help us out. It just makes work a lot easier when you're not you can sleep at night knowing that the money's there before the pull starts, and that you're not stressed out if people are going to show up or not. But I'm hoping for a big crowd. Like I said, the last couple Badger State polls got rained out. So if you want to come see a Badger State show, it's become quite a popular poll in this area. So we like to have fun. So
Right. And I think it got popular for the pullers because you did it in 2020 during, when everything else shut down.
right.
Right. And I know the pullers all appreciated that. So I know they're there to support you and do, and do what they can for you.
Yeah, we've actually got possibly 4 tractors from Missouri coming up.
Yep. I know Doug.
I know.
Doug
Yeah,
Ruth.
Doug and D. Ruth will be there.
Yep. Doug Ruth is coming. He told me that. He called me yesterday. So, yep. So
hopefully the only component Light Pro will be there from Missouri. The Gopher is supposed to show up and see if they can have a go at it.
is Ernie going to drive it or not? Or is Connie?
I would imagine.
Ernie's driving.
I would imagine Ernie's. Yep.
Well, if they want to win, they should put Connie on it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but
right.
Just a few more.
Go
Pat
ahead.
Hack. What did he say?
Pat Hack says he'll bring the juice, and it's not pine sol, it's better, whatever that means. But it says one of the biggest problems with keeping the track together on a long show is getting the pullers to move the cone back and forth on the start line. After 3 hours of pulling, it's hard to keep the track together. We will do the best. So we need another guy on the track now to randomly move the cone back and forth on the starting line. How do you think that'll fly?
Well, I'm going to try to kick it once in a while.
Yeah, you get in trouble when you call the pullers all sheep. I got hollered at for that.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it. But Brandon just texted me some of our platinum sponsors. We've got Wisconsin Distributors, Cardinal Glass, Bodenstein Enterprises, Total Seed Solutions, Bob Rose, Nutrient Ag, Pilling Electric, Hillsborough Equipment, Philback Ford, and the Reynolds Feed and Supply over in Cobb, Bloomington Livestock, and these are just some of our big sponsors that we have that help us out. So
nice.
Yeah. Nice. Why don't you read out the classes that are going to be there, Dirk?
I'm even going to try to do the class order. We're going to start out, hopefully, with Super Farm, and then we're going to go with Light Pro, 2-wheel drive, Limited Pro, 466 Hot Farm, and then we're going to round it out with the Pro Stock class. So that's what brings in the crowd. This area doesn't get to see the big bad Pro Stocks that Badger State is so well known to have, and it's just very fortunate that we can have that in this area.
That sounds good. So I don't have a whole lot left for Dirk. Do you guys?
Well, I just want to add with a 5 o'clock start, people won't have to be waiting until 11:30, 12 o'clock to see the pro stocks either, Dirk.
No, and that's kind of the way we wanted to structure this. I mean, when I put this to Greg, I said, do you want to start at 6, 7 and go till 11:30, or do you want to start at 5? And Greg says, let's start at 5. People want to pull and get out of there. And a late night is hard on everybody. So,
Well, and the thing is, pushing September now, it gets late at night. It's starting to get cold out too.
and it got cold in that bottom last year too.
Yep.
So, well, I hate to cut you short, but I'm supposed to do another interview at 8 o'clock. So,
Oh, must pay better than this one does.
Right.
about the same.
Well,
Nothing.
we getting paid?
Yeah.
Nice to see Drury's popularity going. Oh, that's good.
Yep.
All right,
All
Dirk.
right, well, we'll see you guys Saturday night.
See you Saturday, Dirk.
You too, Al.
Thanks, Dirk.
Yep.
Thanks, Dirk.
Yep. Bye.
I don't have any comments more for Highland. You?
Well, that's the first time one of our guests stiffed us.
Yep. Right. He's getting on in his bowling show next. So, yeah.
Yeah. We
Right.
still got Al here though.
Yep.
Yeah, Al's hanging with us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Al, what do you guys got up your sleeve for next year for Beaver Dam to make it bigger and better than ever?
Well, I don't know. I think we're just going to try to keep doing what we're doing right now. It's
Sure.
working. Just try to keep it going.
The best thing you can do is build a killer track, and that's what I tell everybody I sign a contract. I mean, make that track as good as you can because the pullers will appreciate that and they'll want to come and pull there. If it's a terrible track, a lot of stones in it, it's inconsistent, guys just don't want to go. And you just dread going there because the track is not consistent.
Well, what happens, especially later in the season, you get the pullers that aren't really in the points race. They'll skip it. They'll say, "I'm not in the points. I'm not going up there and beat on my equipment."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're exactly right. And I think the first couple of years we did struggle, and it's getting a lot better now. I've got a lot of nice comments. Actually, Tim Deppy came up to me after the poll and he says, "That's the best track we've been on all year." And I'm kind of surprised to hear that, but I was happy to hear it too.
Did he win?
No, he did not.
Yeah, it's always the best track if you win.
Yeah.
Right.
It was breaking the axle off on the 2-wheel drive. It must have had a little bite out there anyhow.
Yeah.
Unless he had the guy with the thumping pumpkin welded on because he's broke a few axles. I've seen 3 of it now. It was funny. I pick on Dennis Fry all the time about an orange one when the wheel falls off. Dennis and I have been pulling together since we were 12 years old. And we were in Louisville one year, and it was Wednesday night. The very first tractor of the whole show was old Sparky. And he brought this in an open trailer. Must have been 2 hours before we were supposed to pull. And it was popping and banging and banging. It seemed like for 5 minutes he couldn't get her lit. Finally got her all lit, winding up a bunch of RPMs, and the back wheel fell off. Right. And that's what Danny and Dennis Fry were sitting there, and they put their Alice Chalmers hats down. And they said, "It's hard to be an Alice fan."
That is
That's
right.
funny.
So it was fun. I got to pick on them guys. So it is what it is, right?
You pick on everybody. At least you're equal opportunity when you do that. I'll give you
I am.
credit.
I am. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
For sure.
yeah.
Well, we definitely want to thank Slama Enterprises and Front Street Toys and Casper Egg for helping us out every week.
Yep. I want to thank all them guys, and we'll be back next week, Monday night. Hopefully, have some good conversation about Highland and upcoming event. I think we have Rocca left after that, and Monroe Green Fall Net.
It's winding down.
It is. Thank God. Right? It's been a long summer, right, boys?
That's right.
It's been busy.
Yep.
Busy one.
Really.
Thank you guys tonight.
Yep. Well, thanks for coming on, Al, and thanks for hanging out. Again, thank our sponsors, and I think we're good to go. Thanks.
All right.
See you boys this weekend.
Yep.
Yep.
See you Saturday.
Guys.
See you later.
Yep. Bye.